When did you start franchising and how many units are you at right now?
Give you a little bit of perspective, only 5% of franchises out there ever hit 100 units, and the average time frame to do that is 10 years. We hit 90 in 2 years, and then at that point, we introduced the investor model. Also, we have dubbed it as well the CEO model. This model allows for very passive ownership, which we'll get more into, of course, but in the following 6 months after we introduced that, we rocketed from 90 territories, and we are now knocking on the door of 300 territories.
Wow, that is crazy. All right, welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to talk about the painting business. And you might think, what about the painting business? And you might have thought, well, that's not a business I'd like to own. Well, I think once you hear about the painting industry and the potential it has, you're going to really love what you hear today. And we're going to not only talk about an owner-operator model, but also a passive model. There's not many passive or semi-passive franchise concepts out there. And today we're going to kind of dive into that component. But we're also going to dive in a little bit on the owner-operator model because you can utilize SBA financing and get into these franchises. And I think we can probably help most people out there with relatively good credit, a little bit of money in the pocket, and you can own your own business and create legacy for your family. So please welcome Tim. Tim is the Director of Franchise Development for That One Painter. Welcome to the show.
Bo, thank you. It's great to be here with you today. Thank you for that introduction. We are excited.
So it seems like everywhere I go, I see announcements that you guys are opening new territories. When did you start franchising and how many units are you at right now?
So, let me share with you. So, Stephen has had the business here in Austin for 13 years, started franchising about 2.5 years ago. At the 2-year mark, we finished with 90 territories, which made us, at that point, the fastest growing painting franchise in the nation. To give you a little bit of perspective, only 5% of franchises out there ever hit 100 units, and the average time frame to do that is 10 years. We hit 90 in 2 years, and then at that point, we introduced the investor model. Also, we have dubbed it as well the CEO model. But this model allows for very passive ownership, which we'll get more into, of course. But in the following 6 months after we introduced that, we rocketed from 90 territories, and we are now knocking on the door of 300 territories.
Wow, that is crazy. And That One Painter, its parent company is called ResiBrands. Can you talk about a little bit of what other brands are underneath the umbrella?
Yes. So under ResiBrands, we have 3 brands now. There will be more added before long. We are growing, but currently the flagship is That One Painter. The second business under the umbrella is Garage Up, which is the first of its kind complete garage renovation. And what makes it unique is we don't just do epoxy flooring or just do storage solutions for garages or just do garage doors. It's the whole package. So that makes us unique. And then the third company under our umbrella now is Pink's Window Services. And if you haven't seen them, please check them out. And they are starting to take off. And I think they will in short order. We will see as many people coming on board franchising with us with Pink's, just like we've seen with That One Painter.
And also, I will note that your son is actually the founder of That One Painter and ResiBrands, correct?
Yes, he is.
So it must be such an accomplishment as a father to see your son just grow such a great business. I mean, that must be and to work for the company now too. Is that amazing or what?
That's right. I like to tell people, yes, we're obviously very, very proud. And I like to joke with people and say the tables have turned because my wife and I both, mom and dad, now work for their sons. So now it's us that minds our P's and Q's.
That's so funny. Yeah, karma, right? So let's talk about That One Painter. And so what type of candidates are coming over? Are they people that have worked in the trades? Who's your ideal candidate that would be interested in owning That One Painter?
So
territory?
thank you, Bo. The backgrounds of people is really varied. We've got people that have been, for example, a manager in a department store, doing very well. We had somebody that came on board who was a truck driver. We have people that are from the car industry, automobile industry, just like I was. We've got a couple people lately that have come on board that still are, and they're doing that more passive model, medical device salespeople. We've got a surgeon that signed on. We've got a second surgeon that is about to sign on. And the reason these people are coming on is when they first started their search, the first consultant they visited with was like, "You can't franchise. You've got to be full time and you're a doctor." And they're like, "Oh, bummer." Well, then they linked up with a second consultant who said, "No, no, no, no. That's sort of true, but not true. You need to talk to that one painter because they have a model that allows you can be a doctor and come on board with us." So the backgrounds are very much varied. And we believe the common denominator is passion and drive.
Very good. So you're an owner operator with a business model, let's just kind of walk through what's the investment range for an owner operator.
Owner operator, you're going to be your all in for one territory is about $87,000. That includes the franchise fee and includes the first 3 months of expenses, marketing, etc. And then, if you add territories, just kind of times that by that amount per territory.
Got it. And so how many employees do you usually need to start?
So if you start out as an owner operator, just one, and that employee is yourself. You are going to be full-time as an owner operator. You're doing kind of the whole picture. You're going to be going out, giving the bids, turning them over to the painters, project managing each job. At the end of each job, you will do a quality control, and then you will invoice the client and collect your 5-star reviews. So it is full-time if you're an owner operator.
Got it. And so basically the model is that you're subbing the painting out, correct?
Yes, we are primarily a 1099 model. I say primarily because California has some different rules, but in almost every state, we are, 1099 model.
And so somebody with no experience could come in. They're going to learn how to use your software to estimate the projects.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to learn how to get the subcontractors and get the discounts on the paint that they're buying. I mean, can you just walk us through the training and the process to kind of get going live? If I came in today as a candidate in a territory, what's it going to look like to ramp me up?
That's a great question, Bo. I love it. So we provide an amazing level of first class, world class training. Each of our people is going to do about 80 hours of online training. They're also going to come to Austin for 3 days of in-person intensive training. Why are we so passionate about this? Because first of all, we want our franchisees to have every tool they need to be successful. Part of our culture is that we don't feel we are successful unless our franchisees are successful. And the other reason that we're so committed to training is that knowledge, as you know, is power. Always has been, always will. So we want our franchisees to have everything they need to be extremely successful.
Very good. Now, I know this all sounds exciting when you're watching this now, and we'll dive in. We can deep dive on this brand. We can get you in touch with Tim in the future. But let's talk now about, I think, what a lot of my investor clients that own a lot of real estate, they might not want to be an owner operator. They want to be more passive. Let's talk about the passive model and how it works, what the ramp up looks like. I believe that the model is you're going to own a certain amount of territories, and you start with a district manager who then will help recruit the general managers for each of the 5 or 6 territories. Is that kind of accurate?
Yes, absolutely. So, yes, I love talking about this investor model, and it is phenomenal because it allows people who may not have the time but have the ability to invest to get into franchising. So it's very exciting. With this model, you start out with a minimum of 5 territories, and day one, you will have a regional director that is over the whole operation. Now, why 5 territories? It's not an arbitrary number. It's very much thought through. We need 5 territories minimum because we want you to be able to create enough revenue that it justifies paying this regional director. Now, this model is based off of the way that Austin headquarters has been run for a number of years. So each territory has a territory manager, or you could call him a location manager, one sales rep managing over each territory, and then Stephen over these territories has a director. Same thing with this model. Now, here in Austin, Stephen has 16 corporate territories, 2 regional directors that are running the whole thing for him. So on a 16 territory operation, Stephen spends about, are you ready? About 2 hours a week. That's it. How is that possible? Because he's got directors that are literally running the whole thing for him. He stays involved. Stephen will tell you, we don't need a ton of your time, but we need you to care. We need your involvement. And there are very ways you can do it. And then here's a little side note, Bo, because there will be some investors that come on board. We've been experiencing this, that love the model, but they're at a stage in life where they can be full-time. So they want the investor model, but they want to be full-time. They want to be the director for at least a couple of years and then hand it off to a director. They may do that. About half of our investors have come on board that way. The other half are starting day one with that regional director. And so both sides of this work very well. But what's exciting, we built it for the people that have the means to invest, but not necessarily a lot of time.
Got it. Let's unpack this a little bit. So will corporate help identify, because if I were to do this investor model, I probably don't know the right candidate to bring on as a regional director.
Yes.
How are we running Indeed ads? How are we identifying the right fit? And then, in a nutshell, I know every location might be different, but you got to probably incentivize the regional director and the general managers for each location kind of on a volume, right? Because
Yes.
that and the salesperson. And so do you have templates on how it's worked and that's shared with the model? Exactly. Kind of diving in this sounds amazing, but I'm just trying to figure out what, if I'm putting up the capital, what I really need to do. I know I got to be checking the books and interacting. I can't be 100% off on an island in Mexico. I'm still going to be, overseeing the business, working on the business, not in the business. Kind of walk me through this process.
Yes. So we have templates that we can share with them to put the ads out, and we have places to tell them where they can put them, and even agencies that we will connect them to advertise for the right personnel. And then it is the owner's hire, this regional director, but we are happy to get involved and help vet and interview this director. And then the director, he will do the 90 hours of online training plus the 3 days of in-person like everybody does. But the director will come to Austin for an additional week of internship and being prepped and prepared to run this large scale operation. So yes, we in a very deep way, partner with the owners on helping this whole thing get done. And then let me share this with you as well. Kind of follows right on the tails of it. But that director and the territory managers, they work for that owner, but they are under our coaching also. Our coaches will be in contact with them on a regular basis, helping hold them accountable and helping them raise up to the levels that we envision for them. And I think you had another question about pay structure as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just curious on how you really incentivize, because I would imagine that you want to incentivize people on sales, right? Like, hey, we did
Absolutely.
this much volume and you're getting some revenue share. How does that usually
Absolutely.
work?
Another fun topic I love to talk about. So, the territory managers, the location managers, are on a commission pay plan. Okay. You want this because you want somebody that wants to make a lot of money. So, they're on commission. The more money they make, the more money you are making. Now, you give them a draw. So they always know twice a month, there's this much money they're going to have no matter what. But then those draws are deducted out of their commissions. And like here in Austin, they make a very good living. We are heavily incentivize them to sell, and we hire, as Stephen likes to say, diamond employees, and we can help you screen and look for diamond employees as well. And now the director will have a base salary and then also be incentivized with bonuses based on performance and volume and profitability, all those things that you need as the owner. So yes, all that is thought through and built into the pay plans.
Very good. And it looks like there's a couple different ways. You can start with a minimum of 5 territories. Some people might even do 10 or 15 territories.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about 5 territory. Is there an investment range for that model?
Yes. So that one, you're all in to start with five is $510,000. 175,000 of that is your territories. Territory number one is 49,000. The second territory is 39,000, and if purchased all at the same time, number 3, 4, and 5 are at 29,000 each. So 175,000 for the territories. The rest of that money is a very, I would say, substantial padding for the first few months of expenses.
So really, if they're well capitalized, they could just pay the territory fee out and then fund their working capital as needed.
Yeah.
Do they need brick and mortar location?
No, you do not need a brick and mortar location for this, and which is one of the reasons that our entry point is very, very reasonable.
Wow, that's pretty good. And so the first on this model would be that you'd hire the district manager.
Yep.
Um, and so you're usually bringing them on, and as a passive owner, you're going to go through the training probably yourself. You're going to want to know how this all works, and then you're going
It's
to figure
wise.
out, and then you're going to bring on. So would the goal to be to make your first hire for that key person in the first 90 days or so?
You're going to want to get him hired straight off the bat. Probably during your onboarding process, you're going to get this person hired. And then that person, we're going to work with him immediately and help that director start getting the hires in place for those location or territory managers. And we have templates for those also, and guidance on where to place them. And he will be interviewing them. We also, though, always offer to partner with the director on that and help vet those hires for those location managers, territory managers.
Now that you have 2 other brands, Garage Up and Pinks, are some of the candidates buying if they're in, like, maybe they own 3 or 4 territories for that one painter? Are some of them doing multi brands and starting to buy into the Garage Up and the Pinks? Are you seeing some of that right now?
We are at the very, very beginning of stages of that. Right now, let's see, about 3 different franchisees are coming to mind that have that one painter. One of them added Garage Up, another one added Pinks. So we're at the beginning stages of that, but there is now a lot of talk. A lot of our franchisees are saying that is their plan to start what we call stacking, stack the brands within the territories that they have. Yes, one way to grow is to go wide and keep adding territories of the same brand, but another way is to go high and stack.
All right, we've gotten a pretty good overview. One of the big questions that I know I'm going to get from some of these candidates as we're talking about the home service industry and painting in particular, and that one painter, is how do I go and how do I find the leads that are looking to get painting? What are you guys doing to support the franchisees in the system to get the business rolling in?
Okay, love it. So, number one, we have an in-house marketing department. These are our employees and they work on site. It's not a third party agency. It makes us unique because most companies would farm this out to a third party agency. We have an unbelievable huge, it's like an army. We have 21 full-time people in our marketing creative department. They are creating content on a weekly basis and they are marketing your territories for you. They're doing all the new school stuff. They're marketing on Facebook, Instagram, Google, and Google My Business. Let's pause there for just a moment because those 4 platforms are what a third party agency can also do. But we go way beyond what a third party can do. They kind of stop there. But there are other platforms that are very home service specific and important. Platforms like Angie's List, Networks, Thumbtack, and several more. We go onto all those platforms. We set up the accounts for the franchisee. He or she doesn't have to do that. We set those up for them. We do the whole thing, create the content, market, all of it. And it's very effective. And what we do is we go broad in the beginning on multiple platforms. And here's a unique thing. Every territory, every area responds a little bit differently to different platforms. So we go wide, see what's working in your area. And next door over here, it may be a different formula that works, different platforms that works. And then we adjust the platforms to each territory based on what is working. So that's kind of the first phase of it. There's a few more things that factor in, but that would kind of be the first thing.
Very good. Well, everyone, I'm not going to take too much of Tim's time today because there's a lot you're going to, if this interests you, I wanted to wet your whistle today. And I think this wets your whistle, even if you weren't thinking about painting businesses or home service franchise. This is why most people getting into the franchise world that I'm seeing today are getting into this home service, the non-food franchise type stuff.
Yes.
They're low overhead with the potential of high profit margins. These are the businesses to get going in. So you guys can schedule a call with me below, and we'll have Tim back on the show at some point just to dive into, the brand a little bit more. But I think this is good for you right now. I hope this really got you excited because really the low investment as an owner operator, or if you got some money, you can get in on the passive model with 5 territories. I think that is where I have both candidates. I have the first time owner operator and I have the investors that might own a lot of real estate. They're doctors, lawyers. They want to own a franchise concept in their portfolio. I think more people are talking this way now. It's becoming kind of the norm now. You're seeing is like it's now like owning real estate. You can own a franchise, right? Like it's cool. We're seeing a lot of that. So everybody out there, I hope you enjoy this episode. Tim, any closing remarks from you?
No, I mean, this is great, Bo. Thank you for the opportunity. And everybody that's listening, if you're interested, reach out to Bo. He is an expert and he can refer you to us. He can refer you to kind of give you a number of different brands to look at and help you sort through and make the choice that's right for you. He is an expert in this field. And thank you for taking the time to listen to us. And I hope to be able to visit with you more about this opportunity.
Thank you so much. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Thanks.
Welcome to the Own a Business Today podcast, your ultimate destination for captivating interviews with franchisors, seasoned business owners, and ambitious entrepreneurs. Prepare to explore the dynamic world of franchising and business acquisitions. In our episodes, we will explore subjects like uncovering profitable franchise opportunities, taking the courageous leap into franchise ownership, and seamlessly transitioning from your traditional 9-to-5 routine into the domain of business ownership. With your host, Bo Eckstein, leading the way, join us as we dive into the exciting world of entrepreneurship. To catch previous episodes, dive into in-depth articles, and access a wealth of additional resources, visit us at ownabusinesstoday.com.